Welcome to Second Unitarian Church.
Good morning.
I'm Karen Goldner, a member of the Church's Board of Trustees. My pronouns are she, her, hers. You'll notice that I am wearing a yellow name tag and are interested in getting more involved in church. Please fill out the yellow slip of paper in your order of service and place it on the collection plate. We do stream our service on Facebook. Thank you very much, Susan. For those who are unable to join in person, the camera is going to be pointed at the chancel during our time together this morning. Please note that if you need a large print order of service, they're available from the ushers. We invite you to join us after the service in the Palmer Room behind you for coffee and conversation. We especially welcome our guests so we can get to know you better. If you'd like to be greeted by members of the church, please use one of the blue mugs that will be available by the coffee pot. And for anyone who prefers a quieter space, you're always welcome to come back into the sanctuary and enjoy your coffee here. I have a couple of announcements to highlight for you this morning. Immediately after the service today, we will have the first session of the new member orientation class downstairs in the Fleischman Fellowship Hall. If you are interested in becoming a member of the congregation, we encourage you to attend. Even if you have not previously signed up, you are welcome to do so today, or to come today. All families with children and youth under 18 are invited to the 2-year family group that will meet today from noon until 1 p.m. today upstairs in the loft. Next Sunday, we will have a training for those interested in becoming worship associates. New voices are welcome and encouraged. Youth voices are also welcome and encouraged. It is important for each of us to see some part of ourselves in those leading worship. Please find other important announcements in your order of service, and then I have one additional point to make. Today we celebrate the autumnal equinox, which is about balance. In addition to Reverend Jason's sermon this morning, please join Codes tonight at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary for our Mabon ritual honoring the equinox. I invite you now to be present to this moment. Now is the time to put your phone on worship mode as we begin our service together. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but by the values that we share. Whether you just stepped into this church for the first time or for the 1,000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you navigate the world, however much money you do or do not have, you are welcome here. I invite you now to pause and take a deep breath in and out. And as the music begins, let us enter into our worship service together.
Ryan Teddy, I invite you forward to light our chalice this morning as we use these words from Patrick Desmino. So we go from daylight towards night, so we go, turning on through life. Come as the sun turns bearded barley from soft green to a brazen bronze. Come as the sunflowers rest their heads in the peace of sleep while the sun spins on. Come as mistakes turn to wisdom. Come as the rash becomes the sage. Come as the blooms of youth grow into the feast and seed of our autumn age. Come, let us worship together. At this moment, I invite you to rise and greet your neighbors. Say hello to those familiar and those who are new to you. Take a moment, please.
Happy birthday! I'm sorry I missed it.
Good morning, Ryan.
Oh, I like that job.
invite you to join me in our words of covenant. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, holding faithful to a love that embraces both adversity and conflict. Called by a living tradition, we will nurture spirituality within a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion. Now we will sing our congregational hymn, Spirit of Love.
How many folks had the opportunity to be at our piano recital and celebration last night? Oh, I'm so glad you were there. I was so sad to miss it. And I am also so glad we have a moment to bless this amazing instrument that we have in our community. For those who have not been here in the last couple of Sundays, you may have missed that I said September is the month of blessing the things here at church. Our new piano being just one of them. This incredible instrument is a gift that was made possible by the generosity of Chuck Cerny and Jody Mills Cerny. Such generosity to celebrate our church, to celebrate our music, to ensure that with the highs of life, when we are feeling the joys, the love, the celebration, that our instrument can join us in that, can lift that up for us. And that when we're struggling, when things are feeling low, when we go from the happy, beautiful joys of life to the sorrows, singing the blues together, that we know that our music will accompany us there. The sounds of this congregation will fill us in our spirits, will lift us up, will accompany us when we're down, that this gift is a blessing to us, and so may we bless and thank it in return. I'd like to invite those who are young at heart or young in age to come forward and join me up here on the chancel. I have something up here that you might have some interest in that maybe you'll help me open and figure out what's inside. I want everyone to be able to see it. Apparently it's not very heavy or I wouldn't be able to lift it up like this. What is this? A present. What else? Anyone else? Words you were thinking of? Yes.
It's a gift.
A gift. What was the word you were thinking of? A box. Yes. What were you thinking? A box with a bow. Any other thoughts of what this is? Yes. A box what? With wrapping. Yes. A paper that's around the box. There's so many ways of describing what this is. What do you expect might be inside? Ooh, so many ideas. We'll go, everyone can have a chance to share. What do you expect? Styrofoam. A toy car. Packing peanuts. What do you think?
I think inside of the wrapping is a box.
Inside is a box. What do you think? What do you expect is in here, Ryan? A book. Daniel, what do you expect?
Nothing's inside of the box.
Nothing's
The
inside.
present is the box.
The present is the box. August, what do you think? You think we should wait and see? It's like all the things that we should wait and see? All right. Can everyone come forward and help me open it up a bit? Alright, pause. We got that part open. And then you work, there is a box. And then what else is happening in here? Colors? Oh! This is the piece that I want you to see. Who can read this for me? Please. Of 2U, yes? The children and youth of 2U are loved, are kind, and important. This might not feel like a really fun gift. The colors are fun. You love the box? My cats would love the box. This would be a great present for someone. Your cat would love the box too? What are you thinking? It's better than styrofoam. So sometimes things don't quite live up to our expectations. Sometimes things exceed our expectations or better than what we thought they might be. And sometimes we just wait and see. And we don't have a whole lot of expectations, and we're just kind of trying it out. Yeah. Well, so we're talking all this month about what it means to be a people of expectation. And so I appreciate you coming to play up here with me with our present and wondering what it might be. But what I want you to know for sure is that you, as our kids here at church, are loved. We know that you are kind and you are important to us. And we want you to feel that with each other. So, yeah, why not? And so, as you go off to your classes right now, we, as a congregation, will sing you out. And for those who are staying, you can find the words in your order of service. Enjoy your classes. Chancel is for living on, for living our spirit, our faith, and our practice. And so when we see some scraps left from the Time for All Ages, it's only a celebration of what we've done together. At this time, is there someone who wants to come forward and share with us from the Lakeview Pantry?
That would be me again.
Great. So Susan Heyer will be sharing with us about the Lakeview Pantry. For those who are unaware or need a reminder, we share our generosity with those well beyond our walls, that you make a pledge every year about the gifts you want to give to our church, to sustain our ministry. And each Sunday we do a collection that we share with those in our community. And so we'll hear from Susan about those we are working with this month.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hers, and I am a member of the board. Just imagine there's a little yellow square of paper right here with my name on it. Something interesting actually that I learned over the past couple of weeks researching plate share at other Unitarian congregations, we do something kind of unique here. Most congregations choose one Sunday a month, or they choose one Sunday a quarter to share their plate with their communities. We do every Sunday, and I think that's really special and really lovely that we have chosen that every Sunday we are going to rededicate ourselves and make a commitment to our community every week that we are here. So for this month, it is Lakeview Pantry, and I know most people think of it just as a food pantry, but I wanted to focus on one other very, very important aspect of their service, which is called Hope for Tomorrow. And in Hope for Tomorrow, there are licensed clinicians that offer services designed to support and empower by partnering with you, the client, to tailor a plan to reach your unique goals. So this could be anything from licensed social work and social care to private, no-cost therapy and mental health assistance. You do not have to be a client of the pantry to receive these services, so this is a community outreach to the entire city of Chicago. And then I wanted to share just one quote from one of the board members from Lakeview Pantry. And Dan says, "It is shocking that in the heartland of a country where billions of pounds of food go to waste each year, 1 in 6 Chicagoans don't know where they'll find their next meal, resulting in devastating impacts on the health and livelihood of our neighbors." Lakeview Pantry is committed to the fight against hunger and poverty in Chicago, where we are extremely grateful to our community members who support us along the way. And this month, that is us here at Second Unitarian. So thank you all for giving.
At this time, the offertory will be accepted. Your generosity is a celebration of your gifts to this community. So I ask that you please give as generously as you can. Your gifts are graciously received. Please join me in reading the offertory response that you can find in your order of service. This church
is a community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us.
I want to invite you into the spirit of prayer and meditation. For the next few weeks, you'll see in your order of service some definitions of prayer. What is it that we're talking about when we say we come into prayer together? So let us take a moment First, let us start by breathing together. Deep breath in, letting it out. Feel your breath in your body. Notice those breathing around you. Settle into your body. Feel your back against the chair or pew that you're sitting in. Feel your feet on the floor. Just take a moment to breathe. Let us begin in thanks. Thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of our earth, and the strength of this community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addiction and illness, seen and unseen. We are with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, we are with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty. We are with you. We pray for all those living in harm's way. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate chaos. We pray that wisdom, compassion, and empathy guide the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are blessed by those who knowingly, with curiosity and courage, face their final days. For those locked in concentration camps at the border, held in cages and inhumane conditions, for those in ICE detention centers here in Chicago, we are with you, and we commit to doing more. Into this shared silence, I invite you now to speak the name of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of this community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be, let it be so, and amen. This time I invite folks forward to share their joys and celebrations, sorrows, and concerns by lighting a candle on either end. Final candle was lit for all those joys and celebrations, sorrows and struggles that lay deep in our hearts.
Our first reading today is Even This Is Enough by Vanessa Southern. So much undone, so much to do, so much to heal in us and the world, so much to acquire: a meal, a healthy body, a fit one, a lover, a job, a better job, proof that we have and are enough just around the corner of now. And up against it, the reality of all that falls short and the limits of today. We honor those limits. If your body won't do what it used to, for right now, it is enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word you want, let that be enough. If you are utterly alone and in despair, be all that here, now, with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering plate went around, if you didn't have money or to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world won't stop penny spinning on its axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. Love won't cease to flow in your direction and your heart won't stop beating. All hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan of the world's salvation. Of that I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beachheads and cleanse all the wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I am sure that there are parts that just don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest if you must. Then, like the swimmer lying on her back who floats, or the hawk who just carries on the oceans of air, rest in chairs made to hold weary lives in a space carved out for doing nothing much but being. Perhaps then you'll feel it in your bones, in your weary heart, that aching, healing sense that this is enough, even this, that we are enough. You are enough.
Please rise in body or spirit. Join us in hymn number 313, Great Hymn. Oh, what a piece of work of harmony.
Please be seated. Our second reading is a short poem, The Place Where We Are Right. From the place where we are right, flowers will never grow in the spring. The place where we are right is hard and trampled like a yard. But doubts and love dig up the world like a mole or a cloud. And a whisper will be heard in the place where a ruined house once stood. Let us listen to the joys offered to us by our choir. choir. Thank you. I think what I'm going to do is give a sermon. Yeah. I appreciate that. I spent the last few days at the Unitarian Universalist Association in Boston. I had the opportunity to connect with and work with folks on the Ministerial Fellowship Committee. For those unfamiliar, that's a space where those who are candidates for ministry, those who are searching and seeking and finding their call, knowing that they feel ready to serve Unitarian Universalist ministry, need to jump through some hoops. But not just jump through some hoops, they need to be looked at with love. They need to be held in care. They need to be evaluated to see both fitness and readiness for the complex work of ministry. We, you, all of us, expect a lot from our ministers. I can tell you that. It's a journey that is a beautiful one, and it's a journey that's a challenging one, and it's one filled with expectation. Those who come before the Ministerial Fellowship Committee spend months upon months working on a packet of information, describing themselves, their journeys, bearing so much of that which makes them who they are to a group of folks that they don't really know, but whom they need to trust, have both the best interest of that person, that future minister in mind, as well as the best interest of our faith in mind. They come forward having spent 3 years in seminary school, reading, writing, reflecting, imagining what was possible. Full of expectation, coming before this body of people who would let them know if they were ready. To let them know if they could see a minister in them. Let them know if they were ready to serve our faith. Have you ever gone on a similar journey? Preparing, working, studying, so much effort put in to following your vocation, your call, following that which would bring you into the fullness of who you are. Have you gone on a journey like that? Maybe it was through school for a job. Maybe training for a marathon, something I will never do with you. If you see me running, you should run too. Someone is chasing me. Or maybe you have spent time organizing, building power in a community, focused on a target, a goal, trying to transform our world or your space, knowing for sure that victory was imminent. You were living into the power of expectation. You were being bold. Have you been there? Been there. Felt that. Alongside the beautiful expectant feeling, I wonder if you've also ever felt doubt. What if all my preparation wasn't enough? What if I don't actually belong here? What if I say something wrong and can never take it back? What if our movement isn't strong enough? What if part of who I am and my essence isn't welcome? Self-doubt, it creeps in. It shows up in the back of your mind, in the pit of your belly, the sweat of your palms. That questioning. Then there's doubt maybe being expressed by others. They say, I don't know. I don't know if you're ready for that. But maybe there's doubt you have that the community you're coming into, maybe they're not actually ready for you. You are more fabulous than they are. you and your awesomeness, which you do have. Sometimes you might wonder and doubt that the community you're coming into, the place you're striving towards that you know is right, maybe they're not ready for you. We have a responsibility to wrestle with the balance of expectation and doubt. We're called to strive to avoid an overinflated sense of entitlement, which can come, and it sometimes inflates our joyful expectancy. We also need to remember to keep our heads lifted high when doubt is creeping in. The autumn equinox is a moment to reflect on balancing acts such as these, because it's not easy. Within Unitarian Universalism, we honor and celebrate earth-based traditions as one of the sources that we recognize in our faith. We recognize this as the wisdom offered both by pagan spiritual practices that have come from ancient European visions, and also from indigenous spiritual practices rooted in what we now call the United States and Canada. In one of the stories of Mabon that you're very much invited to the Cove celebration this evening, but in that heritage and tradition, there is a Welsh story about the god of light, Lu, who engages in a battle with the god of darkness, Terence. Lu, and my pronunciation is probably quite wrong, not Welsh language efficient. Lu loses the battle each year, this battle of darkness and light. And it is a battle that can only happen during the autumn equinox, because it's during this moment that the god is trying to balance across the wide space of 1 foot in summer and the other in winter. And he's unable to hold that balance for more than a moment. And Tanis, the god of darkness, is victorious. While our dominant culture often suggests that darkness winning is reason to be scared, as a devoted Star Wars fan, I've been encouraged to avoid the dark side at all costs. But in truth, there is immense beauty in darkness. There is so much life and joy in it. The battle between light and dark need not be a battle between good and evil. It needn't be a battle at all. Instead, we can celebrate that which is beautiful about summer, the life-giving gardens, the coolness of the lake, the joy of wearing shorts and sleeveless tops. We can then equally celebrate the beauty in the darkness. Literally the place where all life began, where sweet kisses are often exchanged, where we can rest after working so hard, and where we can dance to loud beats in the club. All of it in the beauty of darkness. This balance between light and dark is in part a balance between expecting everything to stay the same as they have always been, and doubting that doing everything the same way is going to always work. Different things might be needed. As we practice this balancing act, remember some of the words from our first reading this morning. The world won't stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. You are enough. Even as we strive to live into the expectations we create for ourselves or that others have put upon us, being just who we are, people of love and care, that can be exactly the balance we need in a society that tells us we are only as valuable as we are productive. A humanist theology is not one that requires or expects perfection from human beings. In a previous congregation I served, I remember the words of a very adamant humanist quite well. He told me that while he knew he could be challenging at times, as some of us humanists are, and that he was very adamant in his belief that there was no God, he was happy still to be called a person of faith. I smiled at him, knowing that many of his humanist friends would not appreciate if you called them people of faith. And so I asked, what is it that makes you feel like a person of faith? And he responded that theists believe in a God they have never seen, that they cannot prove exists. There is impressive faith in that for sure. I, though, believe in the goodness and beauty of humans, despite ample evidence that humans can cause unthinkable harm to one another and to our world. This devout humanist is constantly living in an equinox moment, balancing his faith or his expectation that humans possess greatness, along also with his knowledge of our history, of his own experiences that create doubt that humans could possibly live into the fullness of what we expect of each other. Anthony Pinn, one of the leading thinkers in Black humanism, calls his readers to recognize that humans possess both desire for transformation, human creativity, physical strength, and untapped collective potential. We need not always feel the fullness of this truth to have faith in humanity. We each find ourselves balancing with one foot right on the thin line of many equators in our lives. Work and home, saving money and getting what we need, recovery from addiction, and reckoning with trauma and desire. It's a constant balancing act, knowing that the earth keeps spinning, and we're likely going to fall from time to time. But with more practice and more community and more of us looking out for each other, we return to balance. My hope is as we strive to be a people of expectation, we create the relationships and practices that ensure each person coming into you can expect to be welcome, to be reached out to be invited in and nurtured. Next Sunday, we will talk about creating community expectations and what that looks like for Unitarian Universalists. It's like the trailers before the movie. But right now, as we share together in this sanctuary and in a moment as we go into coffee hour, try on expecting good and releasing your doubts. Try on expecting care and slowly let go of the doubt that it won't be there. Balance your need to protect yourself with your need to reach out. Try on vulnerability and balance it with your strength. May we be deserving of each other's trust. May we be deserving of the releasing of our doubts. Blessed be, let it be so, and amen.
Amen.
Amanda's going to come up and help us with the song that I kept saying, let's sing this. And I'm excited to hear you sing with me.
So the wrong number is in the order of service. It is number 1020, and it's Oh Yeah Yeah. We're going to do this Oh Yeah Yeah. It's 1020 and the teal hymnal. There's some folks in the back who don't have a hymnal, like I've never seen them before. Somebody give them some share. In that corner.
We're good. Keep going. Because I forgot to walk down there. But I will speak to you from here. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and as we hold hands, as you choose, or place your hands upon your heart, we know deeply, truly, we are connected to one another. Go in peace.
Amen.
I'm gonna